Hello, wrestling fans. It's the day you've been waiting for. Selection Sunday. In just moments, we reveal the brackets for the 2024 Girls and Boys WIAA Individual Wrestling State Championships. I am Joe Miller alongside the Wisconsin Wrestling Encyclopedia, Teague Fenwick. Teague, we've been waiting a year for this moment. Are you ready?
And Joe, the hair's a little shorter, the suit's a little nicer than last year.
You look a lot better this year, buddy.
But the excitement remains the same. 752 wrestlers making their way to the Kohl Center on Thursday. But Joe, first and foremost, I'm sure everyone around the state, wrestlers, parents, coaches alike, want to know where they're going to be placed in the brackets.
Well, you've been waiting, you've been wondering since sectionals finished up last night. Let's get right to it. Let's dive in. We start this year with Division 3, Teague. Our first look at the brackets. Here we go. Division 3, 106 pounds, and right there on the top line, Aiden Grudenfelder, the returning state runner-up, 50-1 on the season for Coach Grant Sutter and his Peck Argyle wrestler.
Grudenfelder, a state finalist last year, looking for his first state title. On the bottom side of the bracket, could have a huge Northwest clash in the semifinals on a Friday night. Blake Underwood, 51-1 sophomore, is the 2 seed. Braden Johnson, the 51-2 freshman, and a familiar name at that is the 3 seed. We could be seeing the rubber match between the two on Friday night as they have split their matches this year, Joe. And the 4 seed from Coleman, 39-10 sophomore, Parker Owens.
Underwood, one of the great legacy names. Dad, Blake, is Underwood's dad. Craig, of course, 4-time state champions for Athens. But it's Grudenfelder, the top seed here at Division 3, 106 pounds. All right, let's move ahead. D3, 113 pounds, Teague. And a familiar name up in your neck of the woods. Our first look at Aquinas. Jake Fitzpatrick, the 40-0 senior, grabs the top spot in D3, 113.
And Fitzpatrick looking for his second state title after winning it 2 years ago at 106. Could be challenged on a Saturday night by another state champion, Drew Dolphin, Kenosha Christian's Life, first ever state champion. The 39-1 senior is the 2 seed. The 3 seed out of Auburndale, the 47-5 junior, Derek Goddard. And rounding out the top 4, the 24-7 junior from Bonduel, Jackson Bogad.
It all starts at the top, though. Fitzpatrick, as we mentioned, trying to cap off a perfect season for Aquinas. The 40-0 senior grabs the top spot. All right, let's move ahead. Division 3, 120 pounds. No surprise here, Teague. The 2-time state champ. Is he halfway home to the mythical 4 state titles? The quest begins Friday morning for Mr. Campbell, the number 1 seed from Kenosha St. Joseph Catholic Academy.
Koji Campbell, one of the most fun wrestlers in the state to watch. Like you said, Joe, looking to go 3 for 3. Opposite Mr. Campbell on the bottom side of the bracket, the 2 seed from Valders, Maddox Wendling. The 3 seed, the 37-7 sophomore from Aquinas, Roger Flagey. And the 4 seed, also from Southwest Wisconsin, the 39-6 Norseman from Westby, Jaden Geyer.
Yeah, of course, Campbell, a state title in 2022 at 113 pounds last year at this weight, Teague. So he stays at his same weight class here to defend his state title. Campbell, the junior, trying to get to state title number 3. All right, 126 pounds. Let's head to Northwest Wisconsin, Teague, for the first time on the number 1 seed line. It's Glenwood City. You love the pinstripe singlets. Wyatt Unser of Glenwood City grabs the top spot here at D3, 126.
Unser, another state finalist from last year, looking to capture his first state title, taking that top spot. Opposite him on the bottom side is the 2 seed from Riverdale, Brody Meese. The 3 seed, the 40-3 junior from Oostburg, Rigoberto Atayez. And the 4 seed, a 36-4 sophomore from Shiocton, Isaiah Sanchez.
So again, Unser, the top seed, Meese of Riverdale, Tellez, and Sanchez. But it's Unser, the undefeated record. He grabs the top line here at D3, 126. Let's take our first look at the Division 3 132-pound brackets. There he is, this senior from Lourdes Academy who loves the Oshkosh on the Water Holiday Tournament, the host school. Lourdes Academy, it's Mason Carpenter, Teague, the number 1 seed at 132 pounds.
Carpenter, a 2-time state finalist, looking to end his senior year on top of the podium. on the bottom side of the bracket could have some competition from the Southwest, specifically the Swall, Joe, as the 2 seed in this bracket is Hunter Stevens from Iowa Grant Highland. And how about this? Could see part 5 of a great rivalry this year, as the 3 seed is Ronan Carey from Mineral Point, a 30-6 junior, a 2-time state finalist himself. And the 4 seed looking to make some waves in this bracket his freshman year, 41-4 from WIAA Fremont, Carter Birdyshaw.
And always keep an eye on Mineral Point, always in that race for the most individual team or individual state champions. Rowan Carey, Mineral Point could add to that legendary total for the Pointers. 138 pounds, and the chase for history begins. Teague Friday morning. Dawson Johnson, the 53-0 senior from Cumberland. He starts his quest to join the 4-peat club, trying to become number 27 all-time. Johnson, the number 1 seed, of course, D3 138.
And on the opposite side from Johnson in this bracket, looking to maybe take him on Saturday night, the 2 seed Elias Glinski, the 49-5 senior from Crandon. I'll tell you what, could have some fireworks in the semis, as Elliot Biba, state place winner, a mid-state last year, comes in looking like a whole new man. The 33-0 senior from IGH is the 3 seed, and the 4 seed at the 138-pound bracket from Princeton Green Lake, the 45-6 senior, Tate Glassmaker.
And Johnson, the Northern Badger champ, Biba, the bi-state champ. 2 of the great holiday tournaments. Will they face off Saturday night? Let's go to 144 pounds. Another big name in this Division III bracket. He's been in the mix, Teague, the last couple of years. Does he close the sale this year? Colton Weiler, the junior from Auburndale, the number 1 seed.
And Joe, Weiler has just been on an absolute tear this year. But you know what I love? I love seeing a couple of state runner-ups potentially meeting up in the finals, looking to get their first state title. As the 2 seed in this bracket, the 132 runner-up from last year, Ian Krapp from Fenimore, the 27-5 senior. The 3 seed out of Coleman is the 41-7 senior, Brady Gross. And the 4 seed rounding out the top 4 in this bracket, the 44-1 sophomore from Partyville, Kingston Galetka.
Ian Krapp is a pinner, got that Greco background. I think he pinned his way through the sectional yesterday. Weiler, of course, a Greco All-American as well, so some big fireworks potentially there at 144. Let's move ahead. D3 150 pounds, Teague, and the Fenimore train continues. The number 1 ranked team in Division III. They have a number 1 seed here at D3 150.
Mr. Siler Zan Chavitz has been on an absolute tear this year. Takes the top spot in this 150-pound bracket. The 2 seed, Mr. Blake Carton from Shiocton, comes into the state tournament in his junior campaign, 43-3. Another strong junior in this bracket is Ashton Meester from Poynette, who is the 3 seed. Just seems to be the theme of 150, Joe, as Mitch McGee from Glenwood City, also a junior, rounds out the top 4. Should be noted, Joe, that the 8 seed Tyson Imhoff from IGH did beat Zan Chavitz at one point this year. So that could be an electric quarterfinals match of Friday morning.
And how about Stone Pomeroy? This bracket's so deep. Another guy with a lot of state experience. He gets the 5 seed, the 44-3 senior from Random Lake. Our first look at Division III, 157 pounds. And we're going to have a theme here in these middleweights and D3 team. Another Fenimore wrestler, Tristan Stelp, the son of the head coach, Chad Stelp, grabs the number 1 seed here for Fenimore at 157 pounds.
Stelp looking for his 2nd state title this year after winning at 160 pounds in 2023. On the bottom side of the bracket here is a Micah Kupta from Coleman, the 43-4 junior, captures the 2 seed. The 3 seed is the sophomore from Iowa Grant Highland, Jackson Bussey. And Joe, perfect day for this. I'm feeling kind of Sunday. I know he is as well. Tyler Sunday out of Clear Lake comes into this 4 spot, 43-1 his senior year.
And Fenimore, of course, will be a part of the team state action, looking to defend their D3 crown, and felt one of the leaders of this team, as Teague mentioned, back to look for a 2nd state title in D3. Here's 165 pounds. How many times over the years have we mentioned the last name of Vandenbush, Teague, in Division III? It's another one. This time it's Torin Vandenbush. The 43-1 senior grabs the top line here, D3, 165 pounds.
And opposite Mr. Vandenbush is Mr. Cade Rule from Mineral Point, the 40-5 junior. A lot of folks know him as the guy who pushed Sonnentag to the brink of Friday night last year in the semis. The 3 seed from Phillips, the 33-6 senior, Ethan Upson. And coming in at the 4 spot, the 43-7 junior from WIAA Fremont was injured all last year and has made a huge impact this year. Carter McDaniel.
All right, I'll put you on the spot, Teague. I'll give you a point for every Vandenbush you can name that's wrestled for Random Lake. Go.
Torrin, Aiden, and Helton. And I'm sure there's a lot more that I'm missing.
That's pretty good for on the spot on a live broadcast. All right. Division 3, 175 pound. We go to Team Fenwick's neck of the woods. David Moline of Aquinas, the 39-2 senior for that loaded Aquinas program. Teague, he's back, and the number 1 seed at 175.
Moline looking to get state title number 2 this year, but it might not come without its test this year, Joe, as the 2 seed is a Nash Banco, the 42-1 junior from Oostburg. Another one-loss junior in this bracket. Near the top spot is Carter Lueck from a Stratford. 49-1 is the 3 seed. And the 4 seed, you want to talk about how tough this bracket is, Joe? How about 53-0, the junior from Partyville? William Becker rounds out this top 4.
Well, William Becker may have some motivation. Undefeated season, grabs the 4 seed, but again, shows you the depth and strength of this Division 3 175-pound bracket. Getting into the big weights now, when we I think have Mr. Mallion's training partner on the top line, Teague. That's Tyson Martin, another Aquinas wrestler, grabs the top line. This one, D3, 190.
It's going to sound like a broken record, but a state runner-up last year, now sitting at the top spot, looking like he has a good chance to get his first state title in his sophomore campaign. Opposite Tyson Martin is the 2 seed from Ladysmith, 53-2 senior Matthew Roach. The 3 seed on the bottom side of this bracket, a 35-4 senior from Waterloo, Trevor Ferrari, and another Shiocton wrestler seated in the top 4. We have Elijah Sanchez, a 36-4 junior.
And don't ever sleep on Fenimore, a potential bracket buster there. Wyatt Annan, talented wrestler, coming in at the 5 seed here at D3, 190. All right, we move ahead. Division 3, 215 pounds. Teague, it's Blair Taylor grabbing the top spot. That's Jackson Schrammick.
Mr. Schrammick, last year a win in the 182-pound title as the 7 seed. Now seems to be seated a little more properly, is in that top spot, like you said, Joe. The 2 seed of the Giant Killer from IGH, Bodie Brockup, sits opposite Schrammick. They share the same sectional. The 3 seed is a Joe Schoder from Cedar Grove, Belgium, the 48-5 senior. And the 4 seed, tell me if you've heard this last name before, from Cadott, the 38-7 senior, Axel Teagle.
Well, as a Guns N' Roses fan, I love the first name. As a wrestling fan, I love the program. Cadott, one of the great programs in Division 3. We wrap it up, Division 3, the big boys. We've seen a lot of Fenimore. Teague on the top line in this Division 3 field, and how about one more? Evan Grotz, the heavyweight from Fenimore, your number 1 seed, D3, 285.
Evan Grotz looking for a title number 2, also known by my co-host Steve as a Mount Grotz. So looking to topple Mount Grotz. Opposite him in the 2 spot, Vanden Hoffman, the 42-1 senior from WIAA Fremont. Hailing out of Coleman, the 3 seed, 40-4 senior Kane Otto. And rounding out this top 4 here at the heavies from Cumberland, 31-6 senior Jack Chafer.
And there it is, your first look at the Division 3 brackets. All right, Teague, what jumps out at you in this Division 3 field? Obviously, Dawson Johnson highlighting this field, trying to make history, going for number 4 at 138.
Looking for number 4 for Johnson. It's going to be absolutely big, and I think he could potentially be tested in the finals. Joe, we'll throw that out on the airwaves now. We'll throw out the challenge to Mr. Johnson. But you have a lot of multiple-time champions. I really love to see all these guys that were runner-ups last year looking to get their first state title. And the big question, Joe, we just talked about the top 4 seeds. Who's going to bust the brackets in Division 3
Yeah,
this
there's
year?
always a couple, and maybe you've got them circled at home after your first look at the brackets. All right, Division 2, get your pencils and brackets ready. You're up next here on the 2024 WIAA Individual State Tournament Selection Show. And welcome back, wrestling fans. 2024 WIAA Boys and Girls Individual Wrestling Selection Show. I'm Joe Miller alongside Teague Fenwick. All right, Teague, we just had our first look at D3, D2 fans. I know they're excited, so with no time to spare, let's jump right back into it. Here's your first look at the 2024 individual brackets in Division 2. And Teague, you're going to see a theme develop here in Division 2 in these lighter weights. Let's start it out at 106 pounds. The number 1 seed, the talented wrestler, Mr. Shane Rashan, the 51-1 freshman from Dodgeville.
Yeah, like you said, Joe, we're going to see a lot of Dodgers at the top of these brackets coming up. But looking at the rest of this 106-pound bracket, look at all the freshman talent that we'll get to watch for the coming years. The 2 seed, you know this is a familiar name, the 38-8 freshman out of Amory, Weston Ingham. The 3 seed, a 46-4 a freshman from East Troy, Landon Bogard. And the 4 seed from a Brilliant, a 54-2, Parker Spearings. Interestingly enough, Joe, sitting at that 5 spot, Jake Jansrin from Luxembourg Casco handed Spearings his second loss of the season at sectionals just yesterday.
And that could be a early Friday morning quarterfinal rematch. So that's one to definitely keep an eye on. All right, 113 pounds, and the theme continues of Dodgeville. Hawken Peterson looking to cap off Teague a perfect season, 43-0 for the sophomore.
Joe, maybe it's too early to talk after only one title, but I know Peterson has his eyes set on going 4 for 4 in state titles as well. The 2 seed sharing the same sectional as a Peterson, the 37-9 junior from a Richland Center, Ethan Haiti. The 3 seed, the 21-3 a junior out of Kewaskum, Brent Krajeric. And the 4 seed from Akil, a 38-9 a freshman, Logan Chad.
Of course, we have a team title decided by the team state tournament. Back in the day, team, it was Teague was done by team points. Dodgeville might be a team to reckon with here with all these number 1 seeds, because let's go to 120 pounds, and there's another Dodgeville wrestler at the top of the line. He's a pretty good one. He's won 2 state titles. You may have heard of him. Perfect 44-0 record. Charlie Might, of course, the number 1 seed here, D2 120.
Might has been on an absolute tear this year so far, Joe. Opposite Might, another guy he's looking to get that first state title is Wyatt Migulski, the 44-3 senior from a Newell, London. The 3 seed could see an electric sectional rematch as Carson Newbert from Luxembourg Casco takes that 3 spot. Newbert and Migulski faced off yesterday. And the 4 seed is a Brady Collins, the 26-1 sophomore from East Troy. But how about the front side of this bracket, Joe? Littered with state place winners. You have a Brady Kessler from a CWPF, Logan Mueller from Brilliant, and Elaine Anderson, who placed at state 2 years ago, is the 11 seed.
And, of course, Might leads the way. Won a state title as a sophomore back a year ago at 113, looking to cap his career with the 3-peat here at 120. And our Dodgeville parade comes to a conclusion. Another big name, Reed Spurley. Great to see him back, injured all season. The future UW Badger Teague is back to go for number 3, the number 1 seed at 126 pounds.
And you love to see Spurley making his return this season at regionals. You see that 6-0 record. The Wisconsin wrestling world is better when Reed Spurley is wrestling at the Kohl Center. Opposite Spurley, this will be a sectional rematch if things go chalk in this bracket, is Ethan Aird from Darlington, a Blackhawk, the 39-3, a senior. The 3 seed, Bob Huntley, the 54-3, a junior out of a Brilliant. And Joe, we could see a matchup between a freshman and a senior of epic proportions on Friday night. Max Gonzalez, 49-0 freshman from East Troy, rounds out this top 4.
And congratulations to Dodgeville, one of the great historic runs here. 4 number 1 seeds in consecutive weight classes. Unbelievable. Well, it had to come to an end at some point, you would think, Teague, and here it does. 132 pounds, a familiar name is back at the top of the bracket. A lot of state tournament success. Colton Hush, the senior of Baldwin Woodville, trying to cap off his great individual career with a state title.
Yeah, Hutch, a 2-time state runner-up. You know he's eager to finish his career on top of the podium. But, Joe, we could see a northwest battle on a Saturday night if things go chalk, as the 2 seed from St. Croix Central, the 51-3 senior, maybe the best name in this tournament, Teague Holzer.
Oh, boy.
Has faced Hush 3 times this year, has beat him once. But the boys from the Northeast might have something to say about that potential finals matchup, as from Freedom, the 44-5 junior, Peter Tomajevic is the 3 seed, and Blakely Bastion is the 4 seed from Luxembourg Casco. Watch for a potential huge match Friday morning between Bastion and 5 seed Ethan Immel.
Yeah, Casco and head coach Chaz Trummel again loaded in this Division II field. Division II, 138 pounds in Ellsworth, one of the great historic programs in D2. Shout out to my longtime friend and Hall of Famer Jack Radabaugh. But it's William Penn, the number 1 seed here for Ellsworth at 138.
William Penn, we know him as the founding father, takes the top spot in this bracket. Opposite Penn is the 2 seed, Colbo Zeal from O'Connell Falls. The 3 seed is Mason Mao, the 42-4 senior from Sugar River. And Joe, again, tell me if you've heard of this name before. One Scholes leaves, another one enters the fray. From Kewaskum, the 43-2 freshman, Bryson Scholes is the 4 seed.
Well, does history repeat itself? Of course, it was 5 years ago when an unheralded freshman named Braden Scholes shocked the world, won a state title in a loaded bracket as a freshman. He went on to win 4 state titles, become one of the all-time greats. Big footsteps for little brother to fill, but it starts here at 138 pounds. Division II, 144, Owen Sefrud. He's got a lot of state tournament experience. He's a 46-0 junior, Teague Fenwick, and he is the number 1 seed in D2, 144.
Owen Sefrud has just looked like he's on another level this year, Joe. Very deserving of that top spot. And opposite of Sefrud in the 2 spot is Kellen Kelly from St. Croix Falls, the 46-3 senior. The 3 seed from Lodi, the 47-8 junior, is Braden Dorhorst. And rounding out the top 4, the 35-8 senior from Luxembourg Casco, Isaac Jerebic.
Yeah, how about the season for Dorhorst? We were talking earlier, not even a state qualifier a year ago. Cody Anderson, that great Lodi program. Great season for Dorhorst. Can he make his way to Saturday night? That would be one heck of a story for Lodi wrestling. D2, 150 pounds, another potential chase for the history books. On tap, Danny Heiser, the junior, one of the top-ranked wrestlers in the country at his weight. 2-time state champ. He's a junior, Teague. Do the math. He's halfway home. Does Heiser go for number 3 here, starting at D2, 150?
And Joe, could Heiser for the 3rd year in a row have to go through another Luxembourg Casco Spartan on his way to a title as the 2 seed in this bracket? A 3-time state finalist himself and a state champion at that. The 40-5 senior from LC, Max Ronsman. The 3 seed from Neilsville, Greenwood Loyal. The 36-2 junior is Hudson Sebesta Opelt. And the 4 seed, another Kewaskum representative in the top 4. The 21-6 freshman, Cage Wiesman.
Yeah, Kewaskum making a trip to this team state tournament. And look at all these freshmen in the bracket. Future very bright, perhaps, for Kewaskum wrestling. Division II, 157 pounds. It wouldn't be a D2 field, Teague, if we didn't have a top-rated wrestler from Winneconne, and we do. Brody Hart is back, the 19-0 senior.
Brody Hart looking for his 2nd state title, his 1st since his freshman year. Opposite the bracket of him is the 2 seed, a 46-4 junior from Medford, Gage LaSavage. The 3 seed, a 43-3 senior out of Darlington Blackhawk, is a Braylon Goebel, who's looked phenomenal this year. And the 4 seed, you know, this is a familiar last name, a 32-5 sophomore from Plymouth, Sawyer Daly. And talk about familiar last names, we'd be remiss not to mention the 5 seed, a Griffin Marco from St. Croix Falls.
Yep, absolutely. How many state titles has the Marco family accumulated out of the years? Could Griffin Marco be a sleeper at the 5 seed? D2, 165 pounds. How about the gaudy record? Owen Wasley, 53-0. Could be sniffing history books for single-season win totals with a state tournament run, Teague. He's the number 1 seed from St. Croix Central.
Wasley, the younger brother of a Gopher wrestler, Devin Wasley, takes that top spot. The 2 seed, the man who made a huge run to the finals 2 years ago from Kiel, Ian DeSellier. The 3 seed, we have another Goebel sitting at the 3 spot. This time it's a Maddox Goebel from Darlington Blackhawk. And the 4 seed, the 42-6 senior, Jeremiah Avery.
Yeah, Prairie du Chien coming out of that loaded Division II sectional to punch their ticket to Team State, and Avery a big reason for that run for Prairie du Chien. We move ahead to 175 pounds. Speaking of that Southwest Wisconsin D2 sectional, Lodi a part of that, and it's Mason Lane. He's a future Badger football player coming up, a big-time football recruit, one of the best high school football players in the state this past season, Teague. But Mason tries to end his prep wrestling career first with a state title here in Division II.
Joe, don't know how many times we've seen it in these D2 brackets, but could have a huge Northeast sectional rematch in the semis. As on the bottom side of the bracket, we have the 2 seed from Two Rivers, Justin Klinkner, the 3 seed from Kiel, who faced off against Klinkner yesterday, Ben Kienbaum, and the 4 seed is Lucas DeJock out of Luck Frederick Grantsburg Siren, also known as Synergy.
I love the last name. I love the co-op. That's a fun one to keep an eye on there as the 4 seed. Division II, 190. You mentioned Silas Dilly, big-time Division I recruit. He's heading to Minnesota to be a Golden Gopher next season. He tries to cap his high school career, Teague, with a win here in Division II, 190.
Placed third at state his freshman and sophomore year, would not be denied last year. Joe looking to be tested potentially in the finals by another state champion, the 182 state champ from last year, 31-1 senior from Amory, Wyatt Ingham. Ingham joined on the bottom half of the bracket by Max Mathias, the 41-1 sophomore from Two Rivers. And why not add another finalist to the mix here, as Trey Shanebeck from Luxembourg Casco is the 4 seed.
And Ingham, a future Badger recruit, so maybe a future Big Ten Gopher Badger rivalry brewing Saturday night with Daly and Ingham in a potential state final. One of the more deeper weights you're going to find in any division, Teague Fenwick. Division II, 215 is stacked. Ian Smith of Northwestern, speaking of Big Ten, no, not the school in Evanston, Illinois, it's the school in Wisconsin. Ian Smith of Northwestern, 16-0 senior, the top seed.
Yeah, the big cat with that top spot, looking for a second state title, might have a familiar foe in the finals as Chase Mathias from Two Rivers comes in as the 2 seed. The 3 seed from Peshtigo, another state finalist, Connor Thomas, the 40-3 senior. And the man who Thomas faced in the semifinals last year is the 4 seed, Joseph Bowles, 47-3 senior from Campbellsport, rounds out this first 4 grouping.
How deep is this weight class? Blake Theory, 47-1, only gets the 5 seed, 215 D2, absolutely stacked. And we finished 285, of course, one of the best maybe ever, Teague, to come through these doors, certainly at heavyweight. That's Coy Hopke, goes for history, tries to get number 4. The senior from Amory, one of the best pound-for-pound wrestlers in the country, 35-2, your top seed.
Coy Hopke, a real blink-and-you-miss-it kind of wrestler, as he spent less than 2 minutes on the mats last year in his 3rd state title. The 2 seed from Freedom, 45-3 junior, Hunter Vander Heiden. The 3 seed coming out of Waupun, the 37-8 senior, Owen Kuma. And last but not least in this D2 bracket reveal, a 40-11 senior from Lodi, the 4 seed, Henry Keppen.
Couple things to look at, Teague, in this Division II field. Obviously, you got to start with Coy Hopke. We had Dawson Johnson in D3. We have another potential 4-timer coming up next when we reveal our D1 brackets. But Coy Hopke, you mentioned it. We did the finals last year. We did the math. It was about a minute and change. He was on the mat. One of the great wrestlers. Won national tournaments. Won world-level tournaments. He is an absolute unbelievable once-in-a-generation talent.
I'll tell you what, love watching Coy wrestle the last few years for the short time that we get to watch him wrestle, right? I'm personally just excited. You have that Heiser Luxembourg Casco storyline, and Max Ronsman, he's been on the bright lights before, having wrestled on Saturday night 3 times. If that finals match comes to fruition, all eyes will be glued on that D2 mat.
An unbelievable Dodgeville with 4 weight classes in a row with the number 1 seed. That is impressive. All right, D1, get ready. We're revealing your brackets next here on the Individual Wrestling State Tournament Selection Show. It's one of the great days of the year. We reveal the brackets for the Individual State Wrestling Tournament. Hello, folks. Alongside Teague Fenwick, I'm Joe Miller. We're halfway through the bracket reveal, Teague. I know you've been waiting for this one. Calm down a little bit. D1, I know you're excited. I'm excited, too. You ready to go?
Let's do it, Joe.
All right, here we go. Division I, 106 pounds. Our first look at the bracket. We go right to the top with a freshman 47-1. William Duchemin from Wilmot Union grabs the top line here at D1 106, Teague.
And again, a lot of strong underclassmen in this bracket. As opposite Duchemin is the 41-5 freshman from Kaukauna, Andy DiPiazza. The 3 seed, another Frost from Rapids, Deegan Armagost. And the 4 seed, we'll see another one with this last name a little bit later on, Bailey Casey from Menominee. Joe, I'm potentially excited for a Casey matchup with a Camden Rugg from Union Grove if it comes to fruition.
I thought you'd be throwing your Holman guy some love there. I'll throw some love to my guy Rylan Lubick. Congratulations, his first ever trip for Menominee and Team State. The longtime great head coach, former Badger wrestler there, the head coach at Menominee. All right, we move ahead. Division I, 113 pounds. It's all in the family in the sport of wrestling. We love our familiar last names. You're going to see a few of them here, Teague, at 113 pounds. Starting at the top line, the 51-4 junior Ethan Bast of West Bend West is back.
And Bast has been an absolute man on a mission this year. If you look at his resume and who he's beaten while he looks for that first state title. Opposite Bast, a man who's been in the finals twice. So won state as an 11 seed 2 years ago. Brayden Casey, the 47-6 senior from Menominee. How about another state finalist in this bracket as a Micah Beckett from De Pere comes in as the 3 spot. And Owen Becker from Germantown rounds out the top 4. He is a 41-8 junior.
Yeah, and you look at, even at the 5 seed, Curtin, a returning state medalist, so 113 is a pretty stacked field. 120 pounds in Division I. You've certainly heard this name, one of the nationally ranked wrestlers at times. That's Hudson's Liam Neitzel is back atop the bracket, Teague, this time at 120 pounds for the Hudson Junior.
Neitzel looking for his second state title after winning it at 106 last year. Opposite Neitzel, Lois Schlump, the 32-4 sophomore from Bayport. The 3 seed from Brown Deer, Mesmer Shorewood. He made waves at the Kohl Center last year as a freshman. 38-3, Maximus Hay. And the 4 seed, a 43-3 junior from Muskego, Kale Zielinski. We know folks love their exciting Thursday night matchups, Joe, and I have to let it be known, Aiden Ari from Menominee, the 8 seed, gave Neitzel a 1-point match at regional, so we could see that Thursday evening.
Of course, we all remember Kellen Ari, the great wrestler from Menominee. Now it's Aiden's turn. Could that be a Thursday night showdown? Division I, 126 pounds. One of the great historic programs in Wisconsin wrestling, having a great year, maybe a renaissance for head coach Scott Bennett. A big reason why the top seed here at 126 pounds, the junior Carter Freeman grabs the number 1 seed.
And Joe, Wisconsin Valley Conference fans will love to see this bracket set up as opposite Freeman is the 2 seed from DC Everest, a 42-1 senior, Easton Cooper. Turner Campbell comes in as a 3 seed. He's had some battles with the 1 seed of Freeman this year. And the 4 seed from Franklin, 35-3, a junior, Matthew Barley. Looking to bust some brackets this year potentially, Joe. The 43-3 freshman from Oregon, the 6 seed, Cade Aberg.
Yeah, Aberg, a lot of national success in his youth and off to a great start for the Oregon freshman. Division I, 132 pounds. Well, he was a great freshman a year ago, Teague, when he burst on the national scene and stunned eyes. Not going to sneak up on anybody this year, but Kellen Wolbert is back. 40-2 for the number 1 seed here at D1 132.
And just like last year, Wolbert might have to make his way through another state champion to capture his second state title. As the 2 seed, they've even squared off twice this year. From Kaukauna, the 44-3 senior, Lucas Peters, the 3 seed, the man who really busted some brackets last year as a double-digit seed, 24-2 junior, Luca Kamish. And the 4 seed, another state place winner from Sun Prairie, 42-3 senior, Christopher Anderson. And
my good buddy, head coach Jim Nelson, wanted a shout out. So here you go, Coach Nelson. Congratulations. Best of luck to your wrestler here. All right, Division I, 138 pounds. It's Declan Koch of Neenah. The great sophomore is back. This time, Teague as the number 1 seed, 42-2 for the sophomore at 138 pounds.
And Cook could have his hands full if things make their way chalk all the way to the finals, as a Tyson Peach from Milton is the 2 seed, and he has been on an absolute tear this year. Opposite Peach on the bottom side of the bracket is Arrowhead Jr. and 2-time state place winner Colin McDowell. And another multi-time state place winner sits in the 4 spot as a Preston Cradville, the 32-2 senior, rounds out the top 4.
There you go. A lot of people thinking Coke Peach Saturday night, but there is some definite tripwires along the way for both those guys. Division 1, 144 pounds. We go back-to-back, Nina, trying to cap off a perfect season. Jacob Herm, the number 1 seed for the undefeated junior Teague.
Herm the Worm, a 2-time state finalist, looking to capture his first state title as a junior, sits in that top spot. And opposite him is Cole Sarbacher, the 42-2 senior from Stoughton. Could have a battle of the Coles in the semis as Cole Doomer from Union Grove comes in as the 40-3, a 3 seed. And the 4 seed, 40-2-6, a junior from Germantown, Eli Rabideau.
And we mentioned Mineral Point earlier. Got to get in Stoughton. Of course, Stoughton and Mineral Point always competing for the most individual state champs. Could Cole Sarbacher help the historical cause for the Vikings come Saturday? Our first look at Division 1 150, one of the best in the nation wrestlers in the weight class. It's Wyatt Duchateau, a 2-time state champion. Teague Fenwick tries to cap off a three-peat for the great Arrowhead program.
It's always a great time when the Duchateau show steps on the mat. Like you said, looking for his 3rd state title. Another man who made waves, caught the attention of folks at the Kohl Center last year on the bottom side of the bracket. Sullivan Ramos from Kenosha Indian Trail is the 2 seed. Henry Niebauer from Hortonville, a 41-2 senior, comes in at the 3 spot. Joe, you might be familiar with this man at the 4 seed. Sam Zanton, 42-0 sophomore from Middleton.
We call him the Machine in Middleton. Hasn't lost since early on last season after an injury derailed his freshman season, but he has been on a mission. That's a 4 seed to keep an eye on with a perfect record. Division 1, 157 pounds. Another nationally ranked wrestler on display. That would be Homestead's Charlie Millard.
Charlie Millard, who won his first state title last year as a 2-time state finalist, has looked excellent this year. And on the bottom half of the bracket, the 2 seed taking his MMA talents to the mat. From Madison West, the 38-2 senior, Damiano Capolini. The 3 seed in this bracket, Ramon Golmatico, 37-2 senior from Arrowhead. The 4 seed, I have learned the hard way not to doubt this man, Joe. The 40-8 junior from Oshkosh West, Ryland Schneider.
And Capolini, a great story, trying to become Madison West's first state champion since the early 80s when former Badger wrestler Greg Schrader took home the title for the region. Division 1, 165 pounds. Our first look at one of the more solid programs in Upper Wisconsin. That would be Marshfield. Caleb Dene, the 50-0 junior Teague. He's in the field, D1 165.
And Joe, you always love to see a potential battle of the unbeatens in the finals, as the 2 seed in this bracket is the Crookster, Liam Crook from Kaukauna, who comes into the state tournament 35-0. The 3 seed Eli Leonard could have something to say about that, though, as he is 44-1 in his sophomore campaign at Mount Horeb Barneveld. And Joe, how about a potential battle of the Calebs on a Friday night, as Caleb Cady from Pewaukee is the 4 seed at 52-2.
Yeah, one of the deeper weight classes. Those top 4 seeds, any one of them could win. Leonard, of course, a former D2 state medalist before moving up now to D1. Division 1, 175 pounds. Another perfect season on the line. It's Jake Stoffel, the number 1 seed for Appleton North, Teague.
Stoffel looking for his 2nd state title. Won at 152 and has put on quite the growth spurt this year as he's looking for his state title at 175. Opposite Stoffel is the 3-sport extraordinaire from Janesville Parker, 48-0 senior Caden Brandenburg. The 3 seed from Nicolay, 53-3 senior Benjamin Ott. And the 4 seed out of Beast, the 30-4 senior Johnny Botch.
Yeah, Brandenburg trying to become Parker's first state champion since his head coach, Shane Fleming, did it in the late 80s. 190 pounds in the chase for history. Once again, we've seen one in each division. Great symmetry this year, Teague, in the quest for the 4-peat. It's Connor Mirasola trying to cap off a storied career with a 4-state title.
And unless there's someone wrestling in D1 college that's in this bracket, Joe, I feel good about Mirasola's chances. But folks, you gotta watch this man from the Northwest while he's on the mat. Ethan Winkleman from Hudson, the 53 senior, is the 2 seed. The 3 seed from Wisconsin Rapids, the 39-5 junior Kyler Tritz. And the 4 seed From Pulaski, 36-5 senior Chase Wozencraft.
Mirasola wrestling at senior level events. We very well could see him competing in the Olympic trials coming up this spring. But first up, it's trying to chase history with state title number 4. Another guy, some sort of history, because he's been one of the best in the nation the last couple of years. Out, of course, the great senior from Milton, Aiden Sinclair, the Missouri recruit T, goes for state title number 3.
Sinclair has just been absolutely impressive these last 3 years. Looks to be even on a whole new level this year, Joe. And opposite Sinclair is a great underclassman in his own right. Garrett Kovchinski, the 41-2 sophomore from Port Washington. The 3 seed from Reedsburg, a 30-0 senior, Jesus Gonzalez. And the 4 seed, the all-star edge rusher from River Falls, Lincoln McCarty.
And we finish up with the big boys, and the Mirasola brothers are back. Cole Mirasola got a state title a season ago at this weight. He goes for another one here. 47-1 for the senior here in D1 285.
2 weight classes in a row. 2 wrestlers looking to get their 3rd state titles. Opposite Mirasola is the all-state linebacker from Appleton North, 27-1 senior Brock Arndt. The 3 seed, one of the most exciting guys in the state to watch. He loves to let it fly. 51-5 senior Grant Stromberg. And hey, you made your way into the top 4 spot. Party on, Garth. Garth Martell from Oshkosh West. The 43-9 senior is the 4 seed.
Now there it is, Division 1, and as we saw, 1 in D2, 1 in D3. We have a young man going for number 4, so could get 3 standing ovations Saturday night if the future Penn State Nittany Lion can close the sale on Saturday night.
How about 195 through 285, Joe? If all things go chalk, total of 10 state titles between the Mirasola brothers and Sinclair. Just absolutely impressive careers.
All nationally ranked wrestlers, all heading on to the next level. Should be a lot of fun. Ladies, get ready! The stage is yours. We will reveal the girls' brackets coming up next. Did we save the best for last, girls? Your turn to look at the brackets. And Teague, I'm excited. The growth of this sport has been unbelievable nationally and in this state, and they deserve their stage, and they're going to get it. So let's get right into it. Girls' brackets are on your screen right now, and we start, Teague, at 100 pounds, and a very familiar name at the top of the bracket line. That, of course, the junior, undefeated on the season, Brooke Corrigan.
Corrigan looking to go 3 for 3 in her state title campaigns in her junior year. And opposite Corrigan, the People's Champ from Marshfield comes in as the 2 seed, 23-1, a junior. And Joe, a Northern Wisconsin battle that I'd love to potentially see in the semis, as Izzy Sonnentag from Cadott is opposite Gardner in this bottom side of the bracket. Sonnentag, a state runner-up last year, is the 3 seed. And the 4 seed from Westby, 22-4 sophomore Kylie Klum.
And I love the last name there of her opponent. Great friend of mine, Milton head coach Pat Yauk there with the Yauk Wrestling in the first round. All right, girls 107 pounds. The brothers say she's the best of the bunch, Teague. So far, so good. The sophomore Taylor Whiting, a perfect 8-0 start to her sophomore season.
And Joe, Whiting has never lost at the state tournament, as a Taylor won it as a freshman last year in those early 4-timer conversations. The 2 seed opposite of Whiting, Ava Peters of Pulaski, the 15-0 sophomore, has looked like an absolute machine this year. The 3 seed, another pinstripe warrior, the 17-3 senior from Glenwood City, Savannah Millerman. And rounding out the top 4 from McWanago, 20-1, a junior, Kaylin Whittier.
Yeah, how about the season for McWanago? They make the team state in boys in a loaded bracket of girls wrestlers. Great job by Coach Weirs-Becky and the McWanago program. Speaking of familiar names, I just was down in Arkansas, Little Rock, watching the Bianchi brothers wrestle. Now it's the Bianchi sisters' turn. Angie, the top seed, the 26-0 sophomore from Two Rivers.
Angie, a state finalist last year, looking to get a state title here in her sophomore campaign. Opposite Bianchi, could have a battle of runner-ups from last year, as Savannah Danielson from Wausau West, 32-1 senior, is the 2 seed. The 3 seed from Southern Door, 27-4 sophomore, Nora LaFavor. And out of Waukesha West, the 22-4 sophomore, Elliot Malloy. Joe, a potential quarterfinals matchup Thursday night. You wonder who Savannah Danielson's only loss is. It's the 10 seed from St. Croix Falls, Lauren V., the freshman.
Yeah, girls, just like D1 boys, start right away Thursday afternoon, so it could be some early fireworks in these brackets. First look at 120 pounds. Boy, we think about the great history of the Mineral Point boys wrestling program. The girls program started to make its own foothold, Teague. Another number one seed for Mineral Point here, and that's Delia Collins.
Collins looking to follow in her old teammates Kylie Rule's footsteps as she's looking to capture a state title here in her sophomore year. Another great sophomore at the top of the bracket as Manitowoc Lincoln's MJ Newman is the 2 seed at 26-1. Maya Delaray, who just got her 100th win yesterday, the 11-0 senior from Ozarki's the 3 seed, and the 4 seed, Haley Fletcher from Fort Atkinson.
Yeah, Fletcher, a lot of high flying. She's a pinner. Could be some early fireworks in that girls 120 bracket. Girls 126 pounds. The Peaches. We saw brother Tyson. Now sister Maddie grabs the top line here, Teague. 19-0 sophomore at 126.
And Joe, I don't know how many times Peaches made it out of the first period this year, let alone wrestle the whole match. She is doing great so far this season. The 2 seed state place winner and Lily Becker from Brookfield East, 21-4, a senior. The 3 seed from Hudson, 24-2, a junior, Miss Natalie Clavetter. And the 4 seed from Medford, Avery LaSavage.
There it is, girls 126 pounds. Here's your first look at 132 pounds and our first Menasha wrestler, and she lists the top of the bracket. That's Lily Banks. How about the record, Teague? 43-0. One of the all-time girls' individual great seasons, perhaps, for Lily Banks, if she can cap it off with a state title.
I know Banks could hit that 40 pin mark if she hasn't already got it, Joe. The 2 seed in this bracket, Josie Stokowski from McGuanago, the 14-2 senior. Potential dynamite matchup in the semis with 3 seed Sophia Galoff from Brilliant. The 4 seed from New Berlin, Amelia Poplowski. And you want to talk about potential bracket busters, Joe? The 7 seed Riley Hanrahan, the freshman from Black River Falls, could make some waves.
Yeah, freshmen all over the bracket. Again, you talk about the growth of girls wrestling. So awesome to see. Speaking of girls brackets to see, 138 pounds. No mystery here. Not only one of the best in the state, maybe one of the best in the nation, pound-for-pound wrestlers, Teague. That, of course, the great Carly Chesker, the undefeated sophomore, is back.
Chesker already won a state title last year as a freshman, looking to go a 2 for 2. The 2 seed opposite Chesker is a state finalist from a couple years ago. The 22-4 junior from Bonduel, Haley Berg. The 3 seed coming from Door County, Sturgeon Base of Ashtabul's 33-5 sophomore Tiani Lemieux. And the 4 seed in this bracket, the 27-5 junior from Wisconsin Lutheran, Leah Lawrence.
Here you go. Our first look at the 145-pound girls bracket. A returning state champ again. That's the undefeated junior, Madison Kalski. Won it a season ago. Tiga is a junior or a sophomore back now to defend her title as a junior.
And we'll see what she has up her sleeve for a celebration after hitting that RKO after the finals win last year. The 2 seed opposite Sokolsky, Shelly Bullman, the 39-4 senior from Eau Claire North. The 3 seed is Sydney Andrews from Turner, 29-2 junior. And the 4 seed, the 33-2 senior from Milwaukee, Ronald Reagan, Honesty Donald. Joe, if I can guarantee one thing in this bracket is that there's going to be absolute fireworks.
I also guarantee Honesty is definitely on the all-name team of this year's state tournament field. Girls 152 pounds, another impressive record, another impressive wrestler. That's New London's junior Haley Kruger. A lot of state tournament experience, Teague. She tries to go wire to wire here at 152.
And just like the last 2 years, Krieger could have her hands full on her way, looking for a 3rd state title in 3 years. As the 2 seed, Kara Kugi from Lomira has given Krieger some good battles. The 3 seed here, Haley Vieser from Southern Door. And the 4 spot is Alexi Mintink from Shoreland Lutheran.
Girls 165 pounds, been a staple in this division since the inaugural state tournament 2 years ago up in La Crosse. Cynthia Reinwald of Horicon, Teague, back again for the 20-0 junior.
Reinwald looking for her 3rd state title in 3 years, the 3rd wrestler in the girls group to be doing so. Could have a finals rematch from last year with the 2 seed Rachel Schauer from Fenimore. Another state finalist is the 3 seed of Sophia Bassino from Sun Prairie East West, is 33-0 in her senior campaign. And how about another Berg from Bonduel? Alicia Berg is a 17-3 freshman and sitting in that 4 spot.
3 undefeated wrestlers, the top 3 seeds, very stacked weight class. Girls 185, maybe one of the great freshman seasons ever, could be capped off at the Kohl Center Saturday night. Brooke Huffman, 37-0, just a freshman.
Huffman, a Fargo runner-up, and is backed up of those results of this season. And she might need to go through a state champion, as on the bottom side of the bracket is Ella Creighton, the state champ at 185 from last year, 39-3 senior from Badger. The 3 seed, Maeve Mahalik from Germantown, a 13-2, a junior. And the 4 seed from North Crawford Seneca, 37-3 sophomore, Anna Logue.
Yeah, unbelievable season. Huffman could cap it off with a 40-plus win season and a state title as a freshman. Incredible. And finally, girls 235 pounds, Madison Burns of Ashland. We have an Ordocker sighting. Teague, the 32-1 junior, grabs the top spot at 235.
Burns, another blink-and-you-miss-it wrestler, as she rarely makes it out of the first minute in most of her matches. Joe looking for her second state title. I need to go through Isabella Reeb, who was the state runner-up last year. I believe a state finals rematch between the two from last year. Olivia Davey from Berlin is the 18-1 senior, and she is also the 3 seed. And rounding out the top 4 at 235, the 24-3 freshman from Watertown, Olivia Walsh.
Now there it is. Our brackets have been revealed. And now let the countdown begin. It all starts Thursday afternoon, 3 o'clock, with girls and boys Division I preliminary matchups. Before we take a look back at everything, Teague, real quick on the girls, we talked about this. You and I were there for the inaugural one in lacrosse 2 years ago, obviously moving to the Kohl Center to its new home last year, and hopefully there for many years to come. But the evolution of this girls wrestling continues to just amaze me. The growth of the sport, and now you have girls that finally can start chasing history, as we mentioned, girls now winning second and third state titles. That is at a standalone state tournament.
Joe, the numbers have almost doubled from last year. I believe over 1,300 wrestlers wrestling in Wisconsin this year for the ladies. And what's crazy, I think we're going to have conversations year after year about, is this the best class to ever come through Wisconsin for the girls? You see these freshmen into the fray getting better and better, and it just makes these brackets better and better too. I am pumped for Thursday afternoon when that first whistle blows, Joe. 61 mats going at the same time. You'll have the 2 ladies mats going as well. And we hop right into the action with D2 and D3 a Thursday evening, which is basically a blood round right off the bat.
And for those of you wondering, 8 mats for the first time ever at the Kohl Center, so it's going to be jam-packed in there. You've got, as you mentioned, D1 and girls team starting on Thursday night, and then the great individual stories. And I love, as we mentioned earlier, the symmetry. You have a wrestler in each division. Of course, Dawson Johnson in Division III, Coy Hopke in Division II, and Connor Mirasol in Division I. So we love the standing ovations. We love our history in wrestling. Everyone loves getting that program, looking at the all-time individual state champs. 3 young men have the chance to join the Immortals on Saturday night if they can finish up over their 3-day journey here and win state title number 4.
It's truly an experience that never gets old, Joe, and rooting for those 3. But, Joe, I'm just rooting for good wrestling, and I know we're going to get it at the Kohl Center in a few days. If you've had enough of Joe and I, then maybe some bad news here. We're going to be back on TV for the finals on Saturday, but we have a lot of wrestling to happen before then. So, folks, take it in. Have a great week. And it should be a fun week of wrestling here in Wisconsin.
We are officially on the road to Madison. Wrestling fans, we will see you Thursday afternoon at the Kohl Center.